And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys. I hope you're all well. As you can see, a different kind of video here on the channel. As I said, we're doing a live stream. Of course, did the live watch along yesterday and just thought, you know what, why not do something a bit different and maybe create like a new series or something like that on a Sunday where we go live, interact with each other and discuss the upcoming week, go over the weekend, discuss what's going to be happening. And of course, the main topic of discussion, of course, is for Liverpool fans, are Liverpool going to be making a signing this summer? Yes? This summer, is Liverpool going to be making a signing this week? Yes or no? I mean, there's 10 days left of the transfer window. It's clear as day still that Liverpool do need to acquire another defensive midfielder, another left-sided centre-back perhaps. So is this the week where it's going to be made? Already in the sort over the weekend, over the last couple of weeks, we've seen a handful of players being linked to the football club. Of course, I put a little poll in there. Cheek Doucouré, of course, was one of them. Another one being... Oh, 2 seconds. Let me just load that up quickly. But guys, let me know your thoughts over the weekend and stuff like that down there in the comment section below. Let's start some conversation. As I said, we can talk about anything. The weekend, the transfers, anything really. The game next weekend as Liverpool take on Newcastle. As I said, loads of different bits and pieces going to be discussed here in this live stream. As I say, hopefully the start of a bit of a new series, if you like. But Ryan Gravenberch, Doucouré, and of course the boy from Bayer Leverkusen are names that have been linked to the football club in the recent days, and a lot of feel that it could be just one of those three players. Now, Liverpool have been pretty shrewd with their business in the recent years. However, of course, this summer has been a bit of a cluster. However, did go out and make a signing out of nowhere, really. As I said, Endo was not a player that Liverpool were really linked with at all throughout the transfer window. It was someone's name that kind of emerged, and literally within sort of 24 hours, he was announced as a Liverpool signing. So could that be the case with signing number 4? Well, I don't know. I mean, Doucouré is one of the players that keeps on coming up. The boy that plays for Crystal Palace, the defensive midfielder, and Ryan Gravenberch's another one as well. Of course, Bild reporting on that situation that potentially... he's not happy with his current circumstances at Bayern Munich. He's not happy with the way the way that Thomas Tuchel wants to play him, and he's maybe looking at a different challenge. And as I say, the German publicists are saying in Bild that obviously Manchester United and of course Liverpool are both interested in the player. Probably just due to Ten Hag link, he'd probably favourable towards Manchester United. But again, in terms of names that are out there, there's a ton of defensive midfield options. But I just feel like this 3-man shortlist is sort of emerging over the last over the weekend and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that Liverpool do make moves over this next week, because there's only 10 days left of the transfer window. Remember, on the 20th now. So 10 days to go, and I still do think Liverpool do need to make 2 more signings at least. I would go 2 more signings at least. But anyway, let's have a little look in the old live chat and see what everybody's saying. Chelsea, I'm not even watching the game. Why have I got the Barcelona game on? Thank you for that, guys. Either way, I'll just stick the Chelsea game on now, and I'll keep you up to date with it whilst we're just discussing bits and pieces from the weekend. Is it 3-1 to West Ham, is it? Jesus. I don't know why I had that. I was watching... the Celtic and Kilmarnock game, so I was on Viaplay still, and then I ended up thinking, did they lose the game? Wow, West Ham. Fair play to them. I mean, they got off to a draw at the start of the week as well, to be honest with you. It's been an interesting weekend of results. As I said, we'll talk about the Premier League results as well. I just want to make this maybe a little show that we could do on a Sunday, go over the weekend's results, talk about the upcoming week. Of course, Liverpool got a huge game this weekend against Newcastle. Didn't get disgraced yesterday. There was bits and pieces with regards to Newcastle's game. They didn't really show up, in my opinion, against Manchester City. However, again, they certainly weren't disgraced against the sort of treble winners, and Newcastle are going to be a very, very tough challenge next week. Now, Going through other bits and pieces, Smooth says, please, we need 4 more signings. Who are we going to sign? Well, this is the thing. This is the conversation of what we're having. Are Liverpool going to be making a signing this week? Is that something that's going to be happening? Chelsea have been the cutting edge of a sausage. So does that make the results last weekend even worse? Does that show that Liverpool probably should have done better within that game at Stamford Bridge? Is that a situation? Because I was saying after the game, I felt like it was a good result, getting a point at the Bridge. But West Ham looked like they've demolished them. I can't say I actually watched the game, to be honest with you. But people reporting that Caicedo didn't have a good game. We dodged the Caicedo bullet today. I haven't watched the game, guys. For some reason, I was watching the Barcelona match. So yeah, Chelsea disgrace. Moises Caicedo, are you watching? Oof. Probably should have went to Liverpool. He would have been a missing piece. And everyone's saying he's had a bad debut today. I see in the live chat, I'm seeing on social media as well. But West Ham look like they've had a cracking game today. I'll go over some of the Premier League results as well. Of course, other earlier results was Aston Villa. They beat Everton 4-0 today. Brighton yesterday, after a flying start as well, carried on there with a 4-1 win over Wolves. Tottenham Hotspur beat Manchester United 2-0. City beat Newcastle 1-0, as I said, next week's opponents. Liverpool caught us, you know the score. Brentford beat Fulham 3-0, and then Nottingham Forest beat Sheffield United. And of course, Monday Night Football returns with Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. So there is other games to be played over the weekend, but the table's starting to shape up a little bit. I mean, we don't take any notice to the league table at this point of the season, but Brighton running away with it at the moment. Currently top of the table, 6 points, 6 goals. Manchester City in second, Brentford third, then Liverpool in the top 4. Yes. We're in the top 4 there again, 4 points on the board. So there's only 2 teams really with 100% record so far, that being Brighton and Manchester City. And then you'd probably expect Arsenal to have a 100% record tomorrow, as of tomorrow as well. So they're taking on Crystal Palace this weekend as well. Could that be Decour's last game? Of course, the link's still keeping and emerging with regards to him. A Premier League proven player. Could he be a player that comes in and does the job? Well, who knows? Let's take some more comments, guys. As I said, it could be about anything. It could be about potential transfer targets. As I said, if you guys drive the conversation, we can speak about anything. It's completely random. It can be about transfers. It can be about individual performances of the weekend. It can be about the red card. It could be about anything, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just drive the conversation, have a discussion with regards to Liverpool. This is what we want to try and get out of this. But if you could do us a massive favour, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's try and get this to 100 likes. That would be absolutely amazing. But as I said, you can see a mixed bag of results so far in the Premier League this weekend, which leaves Liverpool in 4th place. The latest, of course, is West Ham United 3, Chelsea 1. Huge result there for West Ham. In fact, they got off to a draw at the start as well. And a lot of people, I don't think, been rating West Ham. Of course, just come off the Conference League triumph. But could they be a forward in people's sides? I don't know. Maybe I took Chelsea a bit wrong. I thought Chelsea were going to be a side that were maybe going to be taking points off a lot of clubs this season. Maybe Liverpool just were really poor on the day. Because I did think Chelsea played pretty well, especially in the second half at Stamford Bridge. So, one of them. Let's have a little look under the live chat, see what other people are saying. Any transfer news? Nothing. Quiet at the moment. It just seems like the same 3 players currently that they're being linked. Of course, Ryan Gravenberch, the boy from Bayer Leverkusen, and De Keur. So maybe one of those could emerge this week. But time is running out of the transfer window. And of course, Liverpool will definitely be making another signing. That's for sure. Caicedo and Lavia are enjoying the London lifestyle. We should go for Tomori. Do you agree? I mean, he's still playing out in AC Milan, Champions League? Yeah, as a centre-back for sure. Why not? We are taking way too long with transfers. I know. I mean, that's just how the thing is. I mean, this time last year, Liverpool wrapped up their stuff by July. I remember Jurgen Klopp came out and said there's going to be no more signings in July, and that was a huge problem. And then, of course, Liverpool went on to have a really, really bad season. But it does seem as though they are making additions, just taking their time to do so. And you obviously know, I'm not going to bore you with the story with what happened with Moises Caicedo and sort of Romeo Lavia and all those sorts of situations. So we know what happened there. But as everybody's saying there in the live chat, that Moises Caicedo Caicedo had an absolute stinker today. So maybe a bullet dodged, if you like. I do think he is a good player. He will become good, but everybody's stating down there in the comments that he's had a bad game. So interesting one. Do you have any Dakura news? Nope, nothing just yet. The referee should be ashamed of himself. He should be sacked. He should not be a referee for the next 5 games. Oh, everyone's talking about the red card. Was it a red card? Yes or no? Let me know down there in the live chat. Was McAllister a red card? Obviously, probably looks like he's going to be out for a month, which is a problem. A huge issue, of course. I mean, you don't want to lose one of your new signings just playing his second game. And going out for a challenge like that. As I said, I kept on saying I've been playing the devil's advocate and sort of saying, I can see why it wasn't overturned by VAR because the studs were up a little bit. Mike Dean went on to Ref Watch, spoke about it as well. And you can kind of see when referees make howlers, like, the one with Wolves and Manchester United last weekend, that was an absolute howler by the referee, and that was a huge problem. But what I would say about the McAllister one, it was probably a yellow card for me, but it wasn't a clear and obvious mistake, and I don't think the referee could have, or the VAR could have overturned the situation just because his studs were showing, which was an issue. Hopefully, as I said, maybe, I don't know how it works with red cards. I know it's just a straight red, you get a 3-match ban, but maybe if they deem it as not that dangerous, maybe they can turn it to a 1-match ban. Who knows? They're probably going to appeal it, but I think a 3-game ban for that challenge is outrageous, and that should definitely be rescinded. If they're going to do something, they should maybe make it a yellow, or even just put the suspension down to 1 game, and then I think we would all take that and be happy. But certainly 3 games is far too much for that challenge. It was definitely not malicious. I think it was a 50-50. But as I said, Christie, as he came in, he kind of lifted his leg up a bit. And I just don't think there was any malicious intent there from McAllister at all. Let's have a little look through some of the other comments. We are going to appeal Paul Tierney. Was on VAR. He loved it though, didn't he? Yeah, there's a bit of history between those two, of course. No red, seen it over and over. Slow motion, no red, says Joseph. Okay, what do you think about Mike Dean and all that on the Ref Watch? For those of you that are English or British or whatever, Irish, obviously on Sky Sports, you would have probably watched the Ref Watch. They do that sort of Sky Sports news thing where they get a former referee, whether it's Mike Dean, whether it's, what's his name? Dermot Gallagher or whatever his name is. He comes on and he gives his thoughts and opinions on whether it was a red card. And Mike Dean said it was kind of soft, but he said he understands why it was a red card, and then also went on to say that VAR would have not overturned it. So what do you guys make of that sort of situation with regards to it? As I said, very, very harsh, and I don't think you should be getting a 3-game ban. Not at all. I'm happy for West Ham, but I'm a Liverpool fan, says Smooth. Boom Boom says, as dog, he can enjoy his career watching games from the stand. Will Liverpool appeal or risk the 4-match ban? I don't know. I think it's a 3-match ban, isn't it? McAllister did not deserve the red card. He actually tried to pull back his challenge and was just hanging in the air when he was instead kicked. Mike Dean is biased. Caicedo almost cost an open goal, then cost... I haven't watched the highlights yet, guys. I was watching Celtic versus Kilmarnock, and then I ended up leaving Via Play channel on, and then ended up watching the start of the Barcelona game. So yeah, I mean, I had a different channel on. Brighton scammed Chelsea. I mean, it's too early to tell. I mean, you got to be a devil's advocate. But what do you guys think with regards to transfers? Let me know some names down there in the comment section. As I said, you've got the 3 names that we've kind of been talking about a lot lately on the channel. It does look like Dakura could be one of those big names. And of course, it remains to be Ryan Gravenberch. What happens with him? I keep hearing his name come out a lot. And as I said, Bild, a very reputable German publicist, just talking about him. I did watch the Bayern game at the weekend as they took on Werder Bremen, Kane's sort of Bundesliga debut. And he didn't play a part. Yeah, he was on the bench, but he didn't play any part coming off of the bench, which is strange. He's a 21-year-old midfielder. He was bought for big money when it comes to Dutch football standards. And as a player that I thought, should be doing well at Bayern. But does that ever raise the question, should Liverpool be going in for a Ryan Gravenberch if he can't get into the German champions team and he can't get into a team where the Bundesliga, let's be perfectly honest, it's not as difficult as as the Premier League, but do you think they should be going for a Ryan Gravenberch if he can't get into the Bayern team? That's the one way I kind of look at it with Gravenberch. I know he's young, and I know it coached in the right way, but I do think Thomas Tuchel's a good coach as well, and they've had 2 managers in there now, and they've not really fancied him. So is he ready for that sort of step up? That's maybe the warning signs I would probably look at. But then again, I'm looking at that Cheik Decor. He looks like a good player. And as I keep on saying, he's very Fabinho-esque. I know I keep repeating myself with that Fabinho-esque line. But he's a player that definitely reminds me of Fabinho from 3 years ago. He's Premier League proven. He's playing within a team that, a decent team. I mean, Crystal Palace aren't necessarily always competing at the top, but they're not always getting beaten every single week. So I would probably say he's my favourite at the moment in terms of the options that are there. I would go to Kure, but I see other people have got different opinions on different players. But I think sometimes you want to play it safe and bring in a Premier League proven player. But certainly we'll find out. Could Liverpool loan Gravenberch? Again, that's a situation. I mean, Liverpool would have to pay quite a lot. I did hear reports that they would maybe stump up about £20 million for him, but I don't think Bayern would allow him to go for that much. I think Bayern bought him for about 40 million quid. So, I doubt that. But guys, thank you Cave Tribe for becoming a top fan. As I said, we're going to try and do live streams quite a lot more on the channel. As I said, doing live streams in terms of the live watch-alongs and that. We did that at the weekend, so big shout out to everyone that tuned in. I know live watch-alongs aren't for everybody. Some fans just like to just sit there and watch it on their own and not have some random bloke talking about the game with them. I understand that. But of course, if we can do sort of Sunday live streams, talking about the weekend's results, talking about the upcoming week, talking about the transfer window, then that's something that we could do on the channel. If we reach maybe 200 likes, we could start doing this a bit more often every Sunday or something like that. So do hit the like button if you're enjoying it. We've nearly got 100 likes, 500 people in here as well. So big shout out to everybody else. But you guys guide the conversation, and we'll take it from there. As I said, guide the conversation, what you want to talk about. There's nothing in particular. I just titled it to the kind of the obvious. Is Liverpool going to be signing number 4 this week? We know they're going to be signing a player. We know they're going to be signing a midfielder. And there's 10 days left of the transfer window. It's time to get a move on. So hopefully, as I said, they do make those additions this week. And in terms of names, well, we'll certainly find out very, very soon. Lavia and Caicedo, one of them will be sitting on the bench. We know whether to start the game is money talks, I guess. I know I couldn't see with the Lavia situation. With Caicedo going there, from Lavia's point of view, yes, he probably got offered an 8-year contract. Great for him. But I think it was a little bit made up about, I was the second choice. Think about your career. There's no way you're looking at Chelsea and going, that's going to be best for my career. I can't see a world in which they do that. So I don't see how Lavia did it like that. I think it was more money motivated. I think he got offered an 8-year contract like Caicedo did, and then it was just easy for him from that point of view. There's no way he looked at it and went, I'm going to better my career by going to Chelsea. Maybe he thinks he can compete for a place in that team. But I feel at Liverpool, he would have been nurtured into that area. He would have got into the team, and he would have been playing kind of week in and week out. With Jurgen Klopp sort of coaching him stuff, I think that would have been good for him. But it is what it is. It is what it is. LFC 86 says, I'm not convinced on Amrabat. I mean, Amrabat's a player that's, I think, been ruled out. To be honest, I think he's been a player that's ruled out by certain sources. Apparently Liverpool aren't going to be making a move for him. There is no sort of links in there. He has been a name that's sort of been mentioned with a move to the football club, but there's nothing concrete in it. So I don't think Amrabat's a player that Liverpool will be going in for this summer, whether you look at it as a good thing or a bad thing. But certainly I do think Ducker, and I do think Ryan Gravenberch and the boy from Bayer Leverkusen, I keep forgetting his name, but the guy from Bayer Leverkusen are certainly probably the transfer targets at this time, I do think. Comrade says, we should get Ducker. I also like Amrabat. Hincapi, there he is really good. I watched him whole last year. I mean, it's the thing with the Bundesliga. I mean, you get Szoboszlai, who had an absolutely fantastic game this past weekend on Saturday. A lot of people really lauding him, a lot of people really getting excited what he's all about. But at the same time, then you can also get something different from the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga coffers thing, is like a mixed bag. There's the whole saying of Bundesliga tax, where some players come, like a Timo Werner or a Kai Havertz, come in, stink the place out a little bit, but then again you get players that hit the ground running, do really, really well, like your likes of Szoboszlai. I know it's early days, but he's looking really well. He doesn't look like he's fazed by the physicality of the Premier League. As I say, the Bundesliga is very end-to-end, but the physicality of the Premier League, he certainly looked like he was one that could control, and a player, I can't remember a player who had a good as a debut like that in a long period of time. It was a really good display from Szoboszlai. I'm excited to see what he can do going forward, I really do. Sir Scotty says they will appeal Macca's red card. Possibly it's a situation that they could appeal, but again, I think the referee coefficient or coincidency or whatever they were on the Sky Sports are basically stating they can understand why VAR didn't overturn it. So that could be a situation just to watch. This will take time. Very true. Captains from Bundesliga, National do well, not going to lie. Oh yeah, Endo's from the Bundesliga. How did you find his debut this weekend? Let me know down there in the live chat. What did you think of Endo's performance in his first game as a Liverpool player? Good, bad? What did you think of it? Let me know down there in the live chat. I want Caicedo after today's match. Appeal won't matter. I just hope it's a one-match ban, says Study Time. But yeah, do let me know your thoughts on Endo's debut in particular this weekend. What did you make of it? What did you make of the debut? Was it good? Webby says Ryan G for LFC. Endo looks like a tidy player, says LFC 86. My man, it's pronounced Decore, not Decour. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty bad with pronunciations, as you probably can tell if you watch my videos. So yeah, I'm pretty bad at pronouncing names, especially the foreign ones. Endo in at the deep Endo, did well. How about Garbadell, who played in the World Cup 2022? Endo was classy. I thought he did all right. You know, he lost the ball in a few instances, but it was quite tough to come in them circumstances. But coming into a game, your first match into the Premier League, coming into the league where it's different, been in the door one day, never really played with the other teammates. As I say, coming in with when the team's down to 10 men, it's quite hard to have that go. So yeah, I think he did well for what he did. Abdulhamid says Endo was amazing. Endo plays good for me. I like him, says Jurgen every day. Everybody's saying the same. Thank God they didn't sign Caicedo. It wasn't that bad. I haven't watched the highlights yet. I'm not watching the highlights yet. I told you I was on the wrong game. I was watching the Barcelona match, but yeah, I don't know why I had it. I forgot. I was doing other bits and pieces, having dinner and stuff like that, and I didn't get to check it. But everyone seems to think that he had an absolute stinker. So interesting. Go on then, who do you want? Who do you want as the next signing through the door? Who do you want for the next signing through the door? And I'm also going to go through this week. As I said, there's other bits and pieces that we need to discuss, not just transfers. Of course, transfers are important, but there's a huge game this weekend. Obviously, the Europa League is starting to take shape as well. So there is a lot of moving components this week. Of course, as I say, transfers hopefully, and incoming hopefully this week as well. But also there's Champions League playoff rounds being taken place, the first legs. There's also the Europa League playoff rounds taking place as well. So the group stage as a whole for the Europa League campaign is going to start to take shape, and you're going to start to see who Liverpool could be playing this for this upcoming Europa League campaign. Hopefully, as I said, hopefully it's a good group, but already I'm starting to look at some of the names that are sort of rumoured to come into the sort of group stage. Obviously Liverpool in pot one, you look at it and you go, if Liverpool don't get to the final and win this, or Liverpool don't get that far, you start to think it would be a massive disappointment. And obviously I know Champions League teams drop in a bit later on, but already there you're kind of looking at it like, look, should Liverpool be dominating that competition? Should they be trying to lift that trophy? Of course, that was Klopp's final. I think he got to his first final that he got to, and obviously he lost to the serial winners, of course, that being Sevilla. But certainly a trophy that's not disgraced in this day and age. I think it's a trophy that holds weight. the revamp of the competition, the rebranding of the competition, and with the Conference League added into it, there's a lot more quality in it. It's a lot more harder to win, as I said, it's Champions League space as well. So yeah, I do think Liverpool should be going all out to try and win the Europa League, and this week, of course, creates something for Liverpool to go out and see who their potential opponents are going to be this season. Are we still linked to Andre? Andre, the situation with him is, I don't think he's going to be a summer signing. Reason for Andre not to be a summer signing is because of the situation with regards to the Copa Libertadores. Basically, his team want to carry on, like, doing what he's doing. They want, they basically want him to, how do you say? The Copa Libertadores is different. It's like their Champions League, the South American Champions League. Is probably the best way to describe it. And of course, his team are, I think, in the quarterfinals, or at least they're doing quite well. Anyway, the next round is sort of on transfer deadline day. They basically said they don't want to sell him whilst they're in the Copa Libertadores. The final is towards the end of the year. So basically, they want to progress, and they are kind of favourites to progress into the next round. So from their point of view, they don't want to sell him until January, and that's why they don't want to sell him until January. It said that Liverpool are still monitoring the situation. They've kind of been like respected the situation and went, right, well, we won't make a move for him this summer. We'll save him for a player in the January transfer window. I mean, he's a young player as well, and he's a player that I think is probably more one for the future rather than for one for the here and now. Of course, the Brazilian Serie A is not the best level, I'm not going to lie. However, compared to sort of the other players being linked, obviously Decor plays in the Premier League, and then of course Ryan Gravenberch plays in the Bundesliga, and the other boy from Bayer Leverkusen plays in the Bundesliga too. As in Bundesliga is also not Bundesliga 2, but it just makes it, when you're comparing those players with those situations, then yeah, we'd rather go for one of those players that are playing in the Premier League, are playing in the Bundesliga. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'd probably go for. Andre, definitely one for the future, one for the January. But these are the markets you want to also try and scour as well. Look, if you're looking at South America, you're looking at what Brighton seem to be doing. They've lost two players again, Caicedo and McAllister, two of their best players, really. And already, the situation is that, they've already won 2 out of 2. They've just keep on a conveyor belt of talent. And I think they've got a decent recruiting pool from South America. So sometimes, Liverpool, what FSG are like. They like to try and save as much money as they can. They don't really like paying those big transfer fees. So is it a situation where Liverpool just go straight to the source? Do they just go straight to the source and grab these players on the cheap rather than, just paying overinflated fees? I said Moises Caicedo was available for €5 million, literally a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whenever it was. Manchester United had the opportunity of signing him under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for £5 million. They didn't sign him. Brighton obviously went on to sign him. And then look like that, 2 years later, he's gone for £115 million. So sometimes, yes, big teams, they do like ready and proven players. And these names that you come from South America, these names that come from smaller leagues, don't get you sort of pumped up initially. You're kind of like, it's one for the future. And we're all impatient. You don't want to see the projects. But down the line, they can be big coups like a Caicedo was for sort of Brighton, and he went on to command them a lot of money. But I think that's what you're starting to see now with Ben Doak. You're starting to see that with Bešešić. You don't really hear about them before, but look at Ben Doak. I watch a lot of the Scottish Premiership, obviously. And Ben Doak, I think, played 2 games for Celtic. And he played 2, not last, obviously the season before. He played 2 games. I think Celtic tried everything they could to have him, but obviously Liverpool got him before he'd signed a professional contract. And I remember, because I made a video about it last year, and I said, oh, look, he's signed, blah, 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 one for the future. And everyone was like, yeah, but these are boring, don't want these sort of signings. And then already a year later, everyone's like, wow, he's 16 years old, 17 years old, whoever he is, coming into the team and playing as well as he's playing. And these are the signings that you really actually want to try and acquire going forward. And that's where I think Liverpool's business model, and I think that's where Liverpool will probably shift to. Obviously, in a rebuild like this, you need to go out there, you need to spend money, which Liverpool are doing. But you need to maybe have a decent pool of these players on a conveyor belt that are coming through, and then you don't have to spend the large amounts of money. You can kind of do the Brighton, you can kind of do a Benfica, you can kind of do an Ajax. Liverpool aren't stacked with money, but then again, they need to have a great pool of youth players where they can just attract people, bring them in, develop them, get them into the team, etc., etc. So that's the route I think they'll probably go down. That's probably what the sign of Andro would probably do for Liverpool. So maybe that's the way they're looking at it. But certainly an interesting one to watch, and I do think will be a signing in January rather than the here and now. Sorry, long answer there. Let's have a little look at some other questions in here as well. What did you guys think? What did you guys think of the win against? What did you guys think of the win against? Tottenham's win against Manchester United. Do you think that was a big one? What do you think of Manchester United's team this year? Are you Scottish? Yeah, my parents are Scottish, man. My family's all Scottish. Well, it's a good thing Liverpool did not go in for Caicedo. Doak has the X Factor, old-fashioned winger. Do you think we're getting Doucouré over Gravenberch? I mean, reports are stating both of them. I would say, not reports stating both of them, but both are linked. Let's put it that way. Doucouré, for me, I think would be the one that I would choose, but then there's a lot of people that would choose Ryan Gravenberch. The reason why I choose Doucouré, I just think he plays more, he plays in the Premier League, and as I said, I'm going to say it one more time, and I'm going to try and rinse and repeat it, but he reminds me of Fabinho 3 years ago. He reminds me of that kind of player, and I think that's what Liverpool need. So if I had to pick and choose out of the two, it would be Doucouré, or Doucouré. I think I'm getting the pronunciation wrong again. But having said that, Ryan Gravenberch is a young player. He's 21. It's not really went well for him in the Bundesliga. It's not really went well for him at Bayern. However, he definitely has the talent. Maybe you can rediscover that, what you get from Ajax. But then again, having said this, players from the Dutch league are hit and miss. I think sometimes they do good, sometimes they don't do too good. In terms of when you're signing a player from the Eredivisie, they don't always turn out so amazing. Cody Gakpo looks like a talent, but then for every Cody Gakpo you get an Anthony that's not doing well, or you get a Ziyech who didn't do good, or you get I'm trying to think of other players. Obviously, De Ligt did good. Frankie de Jong did good. Xavi Simons has done good. But some players, it's hit and miss. I do think the Eredivisie. I think Portugal's more... I think when you sign from Portugal, you do get quite a good conversion to the Premier League. But Dutch football, from the Eredivisie, it's a bit hit and miss, I think, personally. I don't always think it's not always bang on in terms of... It's a bit of a risk. So Ryan Gravenberch, he's not really proved it outside the Eredivisie. He's just done it for Ajax and not really had a chance at Bayern. So are you taking that risk with him for the here and now? I don't know. Yes, one for the future. I would sign. But if you're looking at who to buy right this second, I'd probably go for Doucouré because he's got the Premier League experience. He's doing really well, and he understands the division up to speed, decent age, and I think he can play that role. But that's just my opinion. That's maybe not other people's opinion. Caicedo now wants to be called Concedo. Oh yeah, Van der Beek also as well. So there are other players that change their sort of situations. But yeah, hey, great channel. Good luck with it. Huge gap for LFC YouTubers. Yes, I mean, yeah, there's a lot in the space. Of course, there's people doing really, really well as well. I like to see what other people are doing and stuff, but try and bring a different spin to the community a little bit, and see if we can try something a bit different. But yeah, certainly it's quite fun. But guys, as I say, you guys push the conversation. You guys can change the conversation. We'll speak about anything. It could be about other teams of the weekend. It could be about performances who stood out for you. As I said, Szoboszlai for me stood out this weekend. What do you think about the upcoming game against Newcastle? What are you thinking? What are you predicting? Obviously, a tough place to go is St James's Park, and under the new sort of regime, they look really, really good. Eddie Howe's got them well drilled. Fantastic performance against Aston Villa, blowing them away 5-1. Obviously, it didn't work for them at the Etihad against Manchester City, but they weren't disgraced. 1-0 they lost. So, yeah, that's not too much of a problem with regards to Newcastle, but it's going to be a real tough tie, especially at St James's Park. That place is popping. Are you brothers with Harvey Elliott? You look alike? No. Nah. Favorite match, Champions League, followed closely by the Barcelona. I would say, well, I'm a bit older, so 26. So yeah, I would say Istanbul, of course, is probably the best. But because obviously when you're a kid, you kind of resonate with that one. But Barcelona, yeah, definitely followed very closely. Newcastle were a good team, fantastic team, so they are. Eddie Howe looks like they're doing stuff. They didn't really spend that much money. It's like they've got the money. They haven't really spent that much money. You can't really mock them, especially with this sort of financial fair play. They've kind of done it the right way with this sort of takeover, bringing in like just younger players. They're just like building a system. But Eddie Howe looks like a really good coach, and he looks like he's getting the best out of them. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a real tough game next weekend. I'm not expecting it's going to be easy 3 points, but you know, Liverpool need to carry on the way they want to. And you know, you want to win prizes at the end of the year. You need to be beating these teams in and around you, especially the ones that are going for top four. You need to be winning those matches. So yeah, I think, yes, it's going to be a real tough tie. However, Liverpool should have confidence in what they've done recently and go into this one and take it a game at a time and just try and get the 3 points for sure. But as I said, it's time will tell. Guys, if you haven't already hit the old like button, please consider doing so. As I said, we're trying to get to 200 likes. And do subscribe. As I said, I'm nearly on my way to 50,000. You probably guys are bored of me talking about this 50,000 subscribers stuff that I keep on going about all the time. But if you haven't already hit the big red button, please help me out. I'm actually 50 away from the big 48,000. And then we are on the straight path towards the big landmark. But as I said, if you can help us out by getting to 48k, that'd be great. If you haven't already hit the red button for some reason, please consider doing so. But yeah, thank you so much so far. But yeah, maybe just sit around for another 5-10 minutes or so, talk about some other subject matters, have a look in the space. It's been a very quiet weekend after the game. A lot of the subject matter has been with regards to the fallout of the game. And in terms of signings, I'm expecting a busy week of transfer news. I really do hope so. I really hope there is going to be players that we can talk about this week as well. Everton need to sack Dyche as a manager for a relegation battle, not to take Everton forward. LFC, I would hate for Everton to be relegated. You need derbies. He likes that one, to be fair. No, yeah, the derbies. Well, it depends how you feel about it. You know, it's always good to have derby games. And talk about derby games. That's when Liverpool's first 61,000 capacity match will be. Is the Merseyside derby, I think, in October. That's when the Anfield Road stand is expected to be completed. So talking about derbies, that's when it will be. So interesting stuff indeed. But yeah. Who is the most likely signing at the moment? I think it's those three that I've mentioned. But I would probably say Decor. But we'll certainly find out over the next couple of days. I do expect movement. I'm sure. I don't think Liverpool can let it go for the rest of the week. We'll see what happens anyway. Your thoughts on the further replacement of Salah and Van Dijk? We see the future ahead of practically era coming to an end. What's your prediction on the future? Well, with defender, no, I don't. I couldn't tell you. But Ben Doak for Salah, I think Salah would be Ben Doak could be the long-term replacement for Salah. I really do. I think he's a generational talent. How old is he? 17, 16? Just turned 17? Playing this match and pressing in the way he's doing. I think he's a fantastic player and the benefit as well, especially for my family. I suppose he's Scottish. I think the Scotland national team are making strides to what they're doing over the last sort of years. And I think attacking players is what they're lacking. So they need somebody on that sort of right side that's going to give them goals and assists or create goals and assists. And I think Ben Doak does that for them. Brighton are cooking. Could they do a Leicester this year? Could they win the Europa League? They're in the Europa League as well. Imagine that final. Liverpool beat Brighton. Something that Liverpool need to be trying to win anyway is the thing. Happy days. But yeah, guys, I'll probably call it there in terms of the actual live stream itself. It's been a good bit of fun, something a bit different. As I said, we can do these sort of Sunday shows every Sunday if you like, and just talk about bits and pieces. So yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about it and stuff like that, then yeah, we'll continue to do so. I think it's been fun. It's been interesting. But yeah, I think I'll probably end up tuning out in a second, just to see if there's any other bits to talk about, maybe answer a couple more questions, and then dip. Funny stuff. Sorry, trying to do something. Sorry guys, 2 seconds, I'm just sorting something out and then... There we go. And my laptop's so slow, especially when I'm going live and stuff like that. It's pretty slow. But yeah, guys, that's me, guys. Thank you for the for tuning in and stuff like that. It's been a good live stream. Hit the old like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you all next time. Take